A hidden letter sits untouched in the dark corner of Jack's old storage room, waiting for the moment someone finally opens it. It carries a truth that could change every part of his life. A truth he never knew was missing. And the person who finds it is not Jack. It is the friend who has stood by him through every storm. What happens next will shake Virgin River in ways no one sees coming. The day begins quietly in Virgin River. The kind of quiet that feels safe. Preacher is cleaning out the back storage room of Jack's bar, working through old boxes that have not been moved in years. Dust rises in the air as he pulls out crates and forgotten supplies. He is not expecting to find anything important. He just wants the room ready for renovation, something simple and routine. But life in Virgin River has a way of turning simple moments into turning points. As Preacher shifts a stack of cracked wooden boards, something small slips free and lands at his feet. It is an envelope, aged and yellow around the edges. His first thought is that it is just another misplaced bill or note. But when he picks it up, his heart pauses for a moment. Jack's name is written on the front in handwriting he does not recognize. The ink has faded, but the message is clear. This letter was meant for Jack, yet it was never delivered. Someone hid it away, and now it has resurfaced in Preacher's hands. He stands there for a long moment, unsure what to do. He knows he should give it to Jack right away, yet something about the envelope feels heavy, almost dangerous. What kind of letter is kept hidden for years? What kind of truth does someone try to bury this deep in a dusty room where no one would think to look? Preacher feels a knot forming in his stomach as he considers opening it. Not out of curiosity, but out of fear for what it might do to his friend. He tells himself he should wait. Jack has carried enough pain from his past, and Preacher worries this letter could open wounds that never healed. Still, he cannot ignore the unease settling over him. He steps outside into the light, holding the envelope like it might break apart in his hands. For the first time in a long while, he feels the quiet town around him shift, as if Virgin River itself knows that something long hidden is finally waking up. Whatever this letter contains, it will not stay a secret much longer. Mel feels something is wrong the moment she sees Preacher step onto her porch. He does not speak at first. He simply holds out the old envelope, as if passing it to her will release the pressure in his chest. Mel takes it gently, noticing the faded paper and the name written across the front. Jack! Her heart tightens. She looks up at Preacher, waiting for an explanation he is still trying to find the words for. Preacher tells her how he found it buried under old boards, how it seemed almost placed there on purpose. The more he speaks, the more Mel feels the air around her shift. A letter this old does not just get lost. Someone hid it. Someone wanted it forgotten. And now, after all this time, it has found its way into their hands. Mel turns the envelope over, studying every edge, every crease, trying to understand the weight she suddenly feels pressing down on her. She knows Jack has spent years trying to rebuild himself, trying to leave behind the shadows of his past. And now a single letter threatens to pull him backward. Mel hesitates, unsure whether she should open it. It is not hers, yet she fears what it could do to Jack if they hand it to him without knowing what lies inside. She stands still for a long moment, torn between respect for his privacy and fear for his heart. Preacher watches her closely. He does not push her one way or the other. He trusts her judgment, but he carries his own worry that this letter could break something in Jack that has barely healed. Mel finally decides to slip the envelope into her pocket, not to hide it, but to keep it safe until she understands what they are dealing with. She asks Preacher not to say anything yet, not until they know more. As Preacher leaves, Mel is left alone with the soft sound of the river flowing outside her window. She feels the letter like a weight against her leg. It is a quiet reminder that life can change in a single moment. She knows that whatever secret sleeps inside that envelope, it has waited a long time to be found. And now it is her responsibility to choose the right moment to wake it. Mel cannot shake the feeling that the letter is more than a forgotten message. That night, long after the clinic closes and the town settles into its usual calm, she places the envelope on the kitchen table. The room is quiet, but the silence feels heavy, as if the past is sitting with her, waiting. She runs her fingers along the sealed edge and senses the history trapped inside. She reminds herself that she is not opening it out of curiosity. She is opening it because she loves Jack, and she needs to understand what might be coming for him. With a deep breath, Mel breaks the seal. The sound is soft, but it feels like the start of something she cannot undo. Inside is a single sheet of paper, handwritten in ink that has faded over time. The handwriting is shaky in places, steady in others, as if the writer struggled with what to say. Mel reads slowly, her eyes tracing every word, and with each line her heart sinks a little deeper. The letter is not from a stranger. It is from someone tied to the deepest part of Jack's childhood. Someone whose absence shaped him more than he ever realized. The message speaks of regret, of choices made in fear, of truths hidden because they were too painful to face. It hints at a connection Jack never knew existed. A connection that could change how he sees his family, his past, and even himself. Mel feels her breath catch as she reaches the final lines. The letter ends with a promise that someone would one day come looking for Jack when the time was right. Someone who knows more than Jack has ever been told. Mel sits back in her chair, stunned. This is not a letter meant to cause harm, yet the truth inside it carries the power to reshape Jack's entire life. She thinks of the man he is now, of the battles he has fought, of the pain he keeps locked away. She imagines handing him this letter and watching old wounds reopen. But she also knows keeping it from him forever would be its own kind of damage. Secrets always surface in Virgin River. The question is whether the truth enters gently or crashes through like a storm. As she folds the letter and slips it back into the envelope, Mel hears footsteps on the porch. Her heart jumps. She recognizes that familiar step, the quiet strength in it. Jack! She quickly hides the envelope behind her, unsure whether this is the moment to reveal what she has learned. Jack steps inside, his smile warm, unaware of the storm gathering just beyond his reach. Mel watches him, torn between love and fear, knowing that the truth she now carries will eventually find him. She just does not know how much time they have before it does. The next morning arrives with a quiet chill, the kind that settles into the bones before anyone notices. Mel wakes early, her thoughts still tangled around the letter tucked safely in her drawer. She moves through the house slowly, as if every step carries a choice she is not ready to make. Outside, Virgin River goes about its gentle routine, unaware that one secret could soon shift the ground beneath all of them. Mel watches the sunlight crawl across the floor, wishing it could shine away the weight pressing on her chest. Jack appears in the doorway, still half tired, still carrying that calm strength that makes him feel unbreakable. He asks if everything is all right, sensing her distance even when she tries to hide it. Mel forces a small smile, but inside her heart tightens. She knows she cannot keep the truth from him much longer. She knows this letter belongs to him, not her. But she also knows that once she hands it over, there is no going back. The past will rise, and whatever it brings will change everything between them. As Jack heads out to check on the bar, Mel takes the envelope from the drawer and holds it against her chest. She remembers every word written on that fragile paper and the promise of someone coming to find him. She remembers the confession buried inside, a confession that explains pain Jack never understood. With a deep breath, she decides she cannot face this alone. She needs someone who understands both Jack's strength and his fragility, someone who has stood by him longer than anyone else. Preacher must hear the truth. She finds Preacher behind the bar, preparing for the day. When she hands him the envelope, he reads the first few lines and goes completely still. His face changes, not with shock, but with a quiet ache only a true friend can feel. He understands instantly why Mel hesitated. The letter does not just reveal family secrets. It introduces a new truth that touches the core of who Jack believes he is. Preacher places the letter on the counter and rubs his hands over his face. He says they need to be careful. Jack has survived battles on the outside and the inside, but this one reaches deeper than any before. Mel and Preacher sit for a long moment in the empty bar, both feeling the same fear. The woman mentioned in the letter, the one who promised to come looking for Jack, could arrive in Virgin River at any moment. And when she does, the truth will not wait politely. It will stand before Jack and demand to be faced. Mel knows that keeping the letter hidden won't stop what is coming. Secrets do not stay buried in a town like this. They break the surface the moment they are ready. With the letter between them, Mel finally accepts that the time is near. Jack deserves the truth, even if it shakes him, even if it changes the way he sees his past. But she cannot hand it to him today, not like this. The day feels strangely still, as if Virgin River is taking a slow breath before something important happens. Jack moves through his morning with the easy rhythm he is known for, unaware of the storm creeping closer. But Mel watches him with a quiet worry she cannot hide. The letter rests in her bag, close enough to reach, heavy enough to haunt every thought. She knows she cannot delay much longer. Truth has a way of finding its moment, and that moment is slipping toward them faster than she expected. Across town, Preacher keeps a careful eye on the front door of the bar. He cannot focus on the small tasks around him. The letter's message repeats in his mind, especially the part about someone coming to find Jack. He has lived long enough to know that people from the past rarely travel without reasons, and those reasons are almost never simple. He tries to stay calm, but every sound outside makes him look up as if expecting someone to step through the door. By mid-afternoon, the uneasy feeling has grown into something sharper. Mel and Preacher meet again, sharing looks filled with the same silent understanding. It is no longer a question of if they tell Jack. It is a question of whether the truth will reach him before they do. They decide to talk to him that evening together, so he does not face the revelation alone. But life in Virgin River does not always wait for the perfect moment. As the sun begins to lower, a car pulls into town. It is quiet, unfamiliar, and slow, like its driver is unsure of where they are or whether they belong here. Mel notices it first while walking home. Something about the hesitation of the vehicle makes her stop. A woman steps out, carrying a small bag and a look of deep uncertainty. She scans her surroundings with careful eyes, searching for something or someone. Mel feels her breath catch. She recognizes no face, yet she feels the connection immediately. This woman carries the same heaviness the letter held. The woman approaches Mel gently and asks for directions, her voice steady but layered with unspoken emotion. She introduces herself with a name Mel recognizes from the letter, a name tied to the part of Jack's life he never had the chance to understand. Mel's heart pounds as everything she feared becomes real. The past is not coming. It is already here. The woman explains she has been searching for Jack for a long time, guided only by a promise made many years ago. She says she has something important to tell him, something he deserves to know. Mel listens, torn between wanting to protect Jack and knowing she cannot stop what is already in motion. The truth has arrived at Jack's doorstep, carried by the person who was always meant to deliver it. As the woman finishes speaking, Mel realizes she is standing at the edge of a moment that will change Jack's life forever. She takes a breath and tells the woman she knows where Jack is. But before she leads her there, Mel glances back toward the heart of town. She understands now that the letter was only the first whisper of the truth. The rest of it has come in the form of a living, breathing reminder of the past Jack never saw coming. Jack is locking up the bar for the evening when he hears footsteps approaching from behind. It is Mel. He can tell by the way she moves that something is wrong. Her face carries that quiet seriousness he has seen only a handful of times in their life together. Before he can ask, she reaches for his hand. Her grip is steady, but her eyes hold a worry that sends a chill through him. She tells him there is someone he needs to meet, someone connected to a part of his life he never understood. Jack feels confusion rising, but he trusts her enough to follow without question. They walk toward the edge of town, where the fading light casts long shadows across the road. A woman stands waiting beside the small bag she carries. She does not look like someone passing through. She looks like someone who has come a long way to say something she has held inside for far too long. When she lifts her eyes and sees Jack, her expression softens, as if this moment has lived in her mind for years. Jack stops a few steps away, unsure what to say. The woman speaks first. Her voice is steady, but her hands tremble slightly as she introduces herself. The name she gives is the one Mel read in the letter, the name tied to the truth Jack never knew existed. Jack's breath catches. He does not understand yet, but his instincts tell him this moment is not simple. It is personal. It is deep, and it has been waiting to reach him for a very long time. The woman explains that she has something to tell him, something she wanted to share years ago but could not. She says the letter found in his bar was written during a time of fear and regret. She had hoped it would reach him, but it never did. She talks about Jack's childhood, about events he remembers only in pieces, about choices made by people he trusted. Her words feel like they are unlocking rooms in his memory he never knew were closed. Each sentence brings a mix of clarity and ache. Jack listens quietly, his jaw tight, his heart beating too fast. He does not interrupt. He cannot. The truth is unfolding in front of him, and part of him wants to step back. But another part, a deeper part, knows he has been walking toward this moment his entire life. When the woman reveals the final truth, the one she traveled all this way to deliver, Jack feels the world tilt for a moment. It is a truth about who he came from, a truth about what was kept from him, a truth that changes the shape of his past. Mel steps closer, placing her hand on Jack's arm, grounding him. She knew this would be hard, but she also knew he deserved to face it with someone beside him. Jack finally speaks, his voice low and rough. He asks why this was hidden, why he was left to build himself from pieces no one explained. The woman's answer is simple and heartbreaking. She says she believed she was protecting him. She says she did not want her presence to make his life heavier. But as she stands in front of him now, she knows he deserved the truth, even if it arrived late. Jack takes a long breath, feeling both anger and understanding rise inside him. The night settles around them, quiet but full, as if the whole town is listening. He looks at the woman, then at Mel, then back again. The truth has finally reached him, and though it shakes him, he does not turn away. He is ready to listen, ready to ask the questions he has carried without knowing, ready to face the past that has finally stepped into the present. Jack sits on the quiet porch behind the bar, the night wrapped around him like a blanket that cannot give enough warmth. Mel sits beside him, close but not pressing, letting him breathe through the storm inside him. The woman from the letter waits a few steps away, giving him space, understanding that this moment belongs to him. The truth she carried here has landed, and now everyone waits to see what Jack will do with it. Jack finally speaks, his voice low and thoughtful. He admits that hearing the truth hurts, but not in the way he expected. It hurts because it fills in pieces of his past he never understood, pieces he blamed himself for, pieces he thought he could never fix. The woman listens, tears forming in her eyes, not from guilt but from the weight of finally releasing years of silence. She explains more gently this time, telling him how she always hoped to meet him one day, not to reopen wounds, but to give him the part of his story he never received. Mel places her hand in his, and Jack grips it tightly. He realizes he is not alone in this moment. He has a life here, a home built from healing and second chances. The truth does not erase that. It does not break what he has grown into. It simply changes the foundation beneath him, carving out space for a past he never had the chance to understand. Jack looks at the woman again, and for the first time tonight, his expression softens. He invites her to sit, wanting to hear everything, wanting to understand the truth without fear. As they talk, Preacher appears at the doorway, watching silently. The sight of Jack facing this moment with strength eases a worry he has carried since the letter first appeared. Virgin River moves slowly around them, the river flowing steady, the trees standing tall, as if the town itself knows that something important has shifted but also settled. The air feels lighter, the kind of light that comes after a long-awaited release. When the conversation ends, Jack stands and thanks the woman for coming. He tells her that while the truth landed hard, he is glad it finally reached him. He no longer feels like a part of his own story is missing. She nods with quiet relief, knowing her journey here was worth every mile. Mel steps closer to Jack, resting her head on his shoulder. Preacher joins them, offering the steady presence Jack has leaned on for years. The woman promises she will return soon, not to reopen the past but to help shape a new chapter. Jack watches her leave, feeling something he has not felt in a long time: clarity. The letter that once felt like a threat has become a bridge to questions answered, to pain understood, and to a future no longer haunted by shadows he could not name. As the night deepens, Mel whispers that they will face whatever comes next together. Jack nods, knowing she is right. The past has spoken, and Jack has listened. But now, with Mel's hand in his and Virgin River standing steady around him, he is ready to step into the next part of his life. This time with nothing hidden, nothing left behind, and nothing holding him from the truth anymore.